Es que... Pero bueno, sacamos un gran resultado. 9 que...
Yo le vi los ojos al diablo en persona en Nueva York. Yo tuve que hablar con los voceros de Donald Trump en Nueva York. Yo conocí la maldad y les digo una cosa. Ellos pensaban que el pueblo venezolano estaba derrotado, que caía Maduro, que caía el pueblo. Y aquí estamos de pie, con la esperanza sembrada, con el horizonte claro.
Antes que se vaya, presidente, le quería contar, después que le quería pedir su mensaje final para el pueblo ecuatoriano para este 2022, pero le quería contar que esta entrevista fue transmitida por Radio Espacio 104.7 FM de San Miguel de Bolívar, por ATTV Macas, en el canal del pueblo de Macas, Ecovisión, Canal 5, Open, Medio Digital, La Realidad de Orellana, Portal Sala de Prensa de Quito, Red de Medios Comunitarios de Cuenca, portales Ubuntu Comunica, Radio La Fábrica 92.3 FM de Ibarra y Super W 96.9 de Santo Domingo. Todos esos medios de comunicación han estado siguiendo de cerca y retransmitiendo esta entrevista, y tengo además decenas, presidente, centenas de mensajes a través de nuestras redes sociales enviándole a usted los mejores deseos de prosperidad para el año 2022. Con eso,
muchísimas gracias. Qué bueno que me diga eso, porque entonces nos está escuchando el Ecuador entero, a mi patria adorada, a mi patria querida. Un muy feliz año 2022. Un abrazo a todos.
Feliz año, presidente. Muchísimas gracias. 9:07. Continuamos en esta jornada de información, de entrevistas aquí en Radio Pichincha.
Seguiremos innovando para hacer tus viajes más cómodos, seguros y las vías más ágiles.
ATM en coordinación con la Alcaldía de Guayaquil.
Bienvenidos todos, muy buenos días. Yo soy Anderson Boscán, esto es el Café La Posta, como cada mañana para revisar la coyuntura política, la actualidad nacional. Un agradecimiento especial a las marcas que colaboran con este programa para que llegue a ustedes, esta vez desde la linda Guayaquil, la ciudad donde no nací, pero creo haber casi que nacido. Un agradecimiento especial a Hyundai, que está con nosotros desde el principio, a El Escalón, que es mi casa en Guayaquil, en el corazón de Urdesa. Los guaguacentros que están cambiando la vida de la gente en la ciudad capital, y por supuesto la ATM de Guayaquil, que es un unido club de marcas que apoyan el periodismo independiente. Es un día importante y movido en la República. Revisamos los hechos en caliente. Ya me pillaron haciendo esto. A ver, en caliente, pues ya se habrán conectado a las redes, se habrán prendido la televisión, los periódicos no han llegado. Assange está detenido, ha salido de la embajada, no porque quisiera, porque le han dado una patada en el trasero. El gobierno ecuatoriano ha tomado la decisión finalmente de hacer lo correcto, lo que le habían pedido, lo que le habían dicho las personas con 2 dedos de frente y algunos años de experiencia en el sector de relaciones exteriores. Ese señor ha roto las condiciones del asilo, hay que echarlo de la embajada porque no tiene derecho a estar asilado.
Happy New Year, everybody. We begin the new year with a tour into Yukon for the showing of Ithaca, and then over to New Zealand on the 23rd, 24th, that week for the showing of Ithaca in Auckland and Wellington. And then in March, after some considerable preparation and organisation off to Europe to do a tour of the UK and Stockholm, Oslo, Berlin, Paris, and whatever else comes up. The international delegation is forging ahead, and that will be going to Washington around about March, April. More news of that as it comes out. I just wish to thank everybody for their assistance and help, support, and the understanding that this is a vital matter for everybody, and of course for Julian. It's absolutely vital. Thanks everybody. Happy New Year. Bye now.
Un gran resultado. 9 que
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
A new report by Yahoo News has come out with some serious claims. It goes into details about the CIA's war on WikiLeaks and its founder, even stating that the U.S. had plans to abduct or even assassinate Julian Assange.
So let's talk a little bit about some of these ideas that the CIA was cooking up. What lengths was the organization willing to go through to get their hands on Julian Assange and shut down WikiLeaks?
Well, pretty far. As I mentioned, the kidnapping, abduction plans were taken pretty seriously and pushed by Pompeo. It was part of a sort of multi-pronged attack that the CIA director and top officials wanted to launch on WikiLeaks that would include getting monitoring and tracking the communications and travels of WikiLeaks associates, in sowing discord among the ranks of WikiLeaks, stealing computers, all sorts of really aggressive actions. The CIA was getting audio and video feeds from inside the Ecuadorian embassy of Assange, essentially spying on him, while, as his lawyers assert, he was talking to them, his lawyers, and doctors, having all sorts of communications that would be considered privileged. So that could well be grounds for government misconduct here that should lead to at least either the British courts rejecting the extradition request, or if Assange is returned to face a trial in the United States, motions for government misconduct by the United States.
Yahoo News spoke with 30 former U.S. intelligence and national security officials for this story, and the former Secretary of State and former CIA Director Mike Pompeo is calling for all of those sources to face criminal charges.
Pompeo essentially just confirmed the story, because you can only be prosecuted for disclosing real and legitimate classified information. So if Pompeo wants them prosecuted, it means he's just implicitly saying, yeah, this exposed CIA secrets.
This goes to the fundamentals of press freedom and of democracy. We will fight. Every generation has an epic fight to fight, and this is ours because Julian represents the fundamentals of what it means to live in a free society, of what it means to have press freedom, of what it means for journalists to do their jobs without being afraid of spending the rest of their lives in prison. The UK imprisons journalists. They're imprisoning Julian on behalf of a foreign power which is taking an abusive, vindictive prosecution against a journalist, and this is what it's about. I urge everyone to come together and fight for Julian. Julian represents all our liberties and all our rights.
Begging for instructions to be able to shoot a wounded man.
Come on, let us shoot.
2 kids and 2 good Samaritans, begging for instructions from their controller.
Shoot. Bongo truck picking up the bodies. Request permission to engage.
This is Bushmaster 7, Roger, engage.
1-8, engage. Clear. Come on. Clear. Clear. More engaged.
They don't want us to see that. However, we depend upon you journalists, publishers, publications, to bring to us the crimes that government commits.
Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield.
So that we are energized, so that we place our shoulders to preventing these murders with all of the determination and energy we can muster to prevent the murder and destruction of an entire country.
Nice. Good shoot. Thank you.
We don't want war. They lie to us in order to have wars for whatever satisfaction I can't make out myself.
Oh yeah, look at those dead bastards.
Who would want to see and hear the lamentation of widows, the cries of children, the groans of men? Who would want that? It's monstrous.
I got a wounded girl. We didn't take the rest of mine.
Oh, it's their fault for bringing their kids to a battle. That's right.
States and its allies moving on Iraq in an illegal war. We can see a good Samaritan dragging a wounded man into his car to take him to the hospital, taking his children on the way to school, murdered before your eyes. The pilots of the helicopter begging for instructions to be able to shoot a wounded man.
Come on, let us shoot.
2 kids and 2 good Samaritans begging for instructions from their controller.
Bongo truck picking up the bodies.
A new report by Yahoo News has come out with some serious claims. It goes into details about the CIA's war on WikiLeaks and its founder, even stating that the U.S. had plans to abduct or even assassinate Julian Assange.
So let's talk a little bit about some of these ideas that the CIA was cooking up. What lengths was the organization willing to go through to get their hands on Julian Assange and shut down WikiLeaks?
Well, pretty far. As I mentioned, the kidnapping, abduction plans were taken pretty seriously and pushed by Pompeo. It was part of a sort of multi-pronged attack that the CIA...
These murders with all of the determination and energy we can